Capricorn Collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs, and cross-watchers. Welcome to your timeless work, career, and vocation reading. I am your reader, fellow Earth sign Virgo that I am, Angelo Lyons, Mal for short. They're just my initials. Professional witch, professional intuitive, president of Drawing the Circle Productions since 1998. I'm the author of Words of Grace from a Professional Witch. It's available on Kindle. There's a link in the description box. If you'd like, you can go down, click it, and preview a good chunk of it for free. Catch a little of my spiritual practice, my morning prayers, etc. As a professional witch, I am also a creator on Patreon. Patreon.com/Drawing the Circle. And since we're talking work, career, vocation, it is probably the wisest career decision I could have made as a mystical artist, a spiritual teacher, a reader, blah, blah, blah. Virgo, I'm a witch army knife, essentially. It has just been a really, really cool thing. Subscription platform allows me to set different levels of subscription with different benefits for all of them. At the time of this timeless recording, we have 8 of those levels: seekers, humans, heroes, angels, witches, immortals, mystics, gods, goddesses is the top tier. They get everything. Seekers get the daily check-ins, an unlisted YouTube live stream link so they can chat with me in the morning. All of my subscribers get those. Talking about the day's astrological weather, the magical applications, the spiritual implications. I love it. It is my favorite way to start the day, and I love it, right? It just is. It just is. We always end with a little prayer, a little something, something. And, you know, as a business owner, it's really, really, really helpful for me to do it, and I know it's helping out my patrons on Patreon. All of my subscribers, including Seeker, all of them, also get the extended readings, all the part 2s to the part 1s on YouTube. So if you find yourself interested, if you get a little nudge, or just like curious, go down, click the link, and look at the menu and see if you want to come Patreon on Patreon with the Archangel of Lyons, Angelo Lyons. The Capricorns, you can just call me Mal. Hi, I have a thing for Capricorns. Hello, my name is Mal, and I have a thing for Capricorns. Hello, Mal. If you are new to this channel, if you are new to my work, this is a 13-card spread for work, career, vocation. Really, it's a 3 levels of power reading. There's a link in the description box to a series of lectures, actually by Carolyn Myss, MYSS. She's a PhD. These are her archetype cards based on her work, Sacred Contracts, but she talks about the 3 levels of power as 3 symbolic lenses that you can look through to look at all sorts of different things in your life. In this case, we're going to be looking at your life purpose, which is big, you know, it's a lot. What's my life purpose? Well, we're going to break it down into how you survive your work, how you know, your passion, your hunger, and your thirst, your career. There are chakras involved. I'll explain as I go. And your vocation, your mystical spiritual power, bringing all of that together. Because it really is all one thing, but, you know, take human bites. Oh my God. Fucking 70s flashback. Broadway. It was a Gemini. Take human bites. Ugh, but it's Capricorn read. So all of the signs in this series get the basic 12, but I throw in a wild card. I pick a deck intuitively, and so your 13th card to help remove the obstacles will be the Whispers of Lord Ganesh, and we're about to talk about what those obstacles are from an energetic archetypal POV. So look, it's a general read. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. Check your other signs. Look for the repetition of the archetype names in the title, because they only give me 100 characters to play with. Otherwise, believe me, I would go on and on. Those wouldn't be title fields, they'd be paragraphs. That being said, cross-watchers, if of course you could be watching for somebody at work who, you know, maybe you're not getting along with, or whatever, watching for a friend, you will get some insight here into what they are going through. But also, if you feel something really resonate that kind of hits you, apply it, because the more of us fulfilling what we came here to do, our sacred contracts, our roles in the amazing, ineffable plan that we can't imagine or conceive while in the game, right? We can certainly play our roles. So, Both feet on the floor if you can. Focus on your breath if you will. We're about to talk alchemy. I will do my best to do this with as much clarity, guidance, and grace as possible so that you can alchemize your shadow to light, your lead to gold, your pain to peace, your poverty to prosperity, like whatever, your lack to plenty in your work, career, vocation. Yeah, it's about money too. Serious. How you survive in the world. I've yet to be able to do it without money. So both feet on the floor if you can. Focus on your breath if you will, because the shift from explanation to divination, oof, they're getting me ready, happens in the still point. So, please take a nice deep breath. Still point. And here we go. I call upon the collective pantheons of the divine. For the Capricorn collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs, and cross-watchers. Watching this video, receiving this reading, using the Caroline Myss archetype cards, I need the 3 dominant archetypes to be alchemized from shadow to light, lead to gold, pain to peace, toxic to healthy, perdition to paradise, hell to heaven, poverty to prosperity, lack to abundance. For the Capricorns and their cross-watchers, let's start with their work. In the 8th chakra, hovering over their head, sending down the codes to all the other chakras, shifting what they attract and they repel so they can alchemize that. They can delay or not. Why delay what cannot be prevented? In their career, their passion, their hunger, their thirst, heart, throat, third eye, crown, inner world, dominant, but what really turns them on, and then they can turn the world on with a smile. And what's going on in their vocation, 8th chakra dominant, right? The spiritual power, the mystical power, their spiritual calling, or at least this chunk of the mission for the Capricorns and the cross-watchers in this timeless, it's 2 cards, timeless, send it around again if that's it, timeless work, career. It's this one. I feel you. Vocation reading. Woo, that was work. These are the most we're going to talk about the cards in general, except maybe that last one down. We put them down: work, career, vocation, working from the root chakra, the physical world, up into the spiritual, but we read them the opposite direction. Oh, so we've got a magical child in your, the magical child archetype, incredibly powerful. You've got the knight, K-N-I-G-H-T, one of the royals, masculine family, so survival family archetype, masculine family archetype, and feminine family archetype of the queen in your work. Now look, this is not about biological gender, but come on. We've got a queen, we've got a knight, we've got a magical child, we've got a story, right? What stories do you can you find a queen, a knight, and a magical child? Gee, I don't know. Only like probably 10,000 of them. And this is what I learned from Caroline Myss when I read Sacred Contracts, and 10,000 feels like lectures of hers I listened to over the decades back in the 90s. You find yourself in stories that you don't realize you're in, and then you go, oh my god. So look, it looks like we got a queen boss at work, but let's go. Written on each of these cards is a shadow attribute and a light attribute, just scratching the surface of the alchemical equation here from lead to gold. Lead has 3 more atoms than gold. You got to release them. They cannot be matter and energy cannot be created or destroyed, only changed, even metaphorically, archetypally. So remove those obstacles. We're going to be using Lord Ganesh as your last card down to help with that. So here we go. And having a magical child in your calling is incredibly powerful because it is a survival family archetype. Everybody has the child, the victim, the saboteur, and the prostitute. Read Sacred Contracts. It's too much to go into right now. But not everybody has the magical child. It's the only one that she defines as having sub-archetypes like the nature child and the orphan child and the wounded child and the divine child, etc., etc. The eternal child. So now let me read this to you. The shadow attribute: pessimism, depression, and disbelief in miracles, believing that energy and action are not required for growth, particularly if you're really doing your best to see the innocence. The child archetype, regardless of sub-pattern, is about safety and innocence. So how does a child feel when they're safe, right? And they're open to new experiences and they have great hope, and right, like magic, right? And miracles. But in this world, that's hard to maintain as an adult, right? It's even hard for kids to maintain. So what you're shooting for here in terms of your mystical power, your spiritual power, your life calling, seeing the potential for sacred beauty in all things, the belief that everything is possible. And in the quantum infinity of it all, yeah, believe it or not, everything is possible. Believe me, there are different versions of Angelo Lyons that are just radically different. And by the way, a lot of them are dead. Choices, right? Everything, everywhere, all at once, whatever. So that magical child, if you find yourself depressed, it's a spiritual thing, right? It may be, right, because it's a survival family archetype. It might be about, I can't pay the bills or this or that or whatever relationship is going on in your work, career, vocation. But to take care of and tend to that tender, magical child, let it cry, because you got a knight to protect it in your career. This is cool. The shadow attribute of the knight. Now, this is your career, heart, third eye, crown dominant. So this is really 8th chakra dominant. This is really the inside world, the feminine energy. It's where we're going to use Daughters of the Moon Tarot, next 3 cards down, to kind of take these deeper. So, the knight archetype in the shadow, allegiance to a destructive ruler or principle, and romantic delusions. Now, we're going to just put romantic delusions on the side for a moment, because this is about career, but maybe you can have a romantic delusion about your career, particularly if you're following a destructive ruler or principle. Do it to them before they do it to you, right? It's a little different than do unto others, as you would have them do unto you. Because catch this, the light attribute, loyalty, romance, and chivalry, a love of honor. Your honor code, what you will, what you won't, what you do, what you don't, your boundaries, and all of that. And come on, your Capricorns. Saturn rings around at boundaries, right? What are you devoting your time to? What's important to you? What is your honor code about in your career? That's pretty powerful. And Her Majesty has arrived. Oh, yes, Your Majesty. No, Your Majesty. How low would you like me to go, Your Majesty? The shadow attribute of the Queen. Oh, I have the Queen archetype. Let's just leave that on the table. The shadow attribute becomes arrogant when authority is challenged. Off with their heads, controlling and demanding. I'm not demanding, you're demanding. How dare you say I'm demanding? Been there, done that. Have the dented crown. The light radiates the regal feminine, uses her benevolent authority to protect others. On a good day. Right? Let's keep these light. I mean, the Queen is on the ascendancy. The King archetype is declining. Ascendancy archetypally in the world, the Queen seems to be rising. And again, like, okay, RuPaul's Drag Race, right? Perfect example. I would love to read a bunch of them Queens. I'd like to have a few drinks with a few of them too, but regardless, Katya's, I'm gonna let you go. I would love to read your cards. This makes sense, right? A magical child. I mean, it is. It's like once upon a time there was a magical child, a knight and a queen, and a work career, and they got down to their work, career, and vocation. So let's see what's going on right under that. The heart, third eye crown, is your internal world, your feminine energy, your goddess energy, your spiritual, mental, willpower, and emotional power. Willpower meaning choice and decisions, like what you will, what you won't. Spit, swallow, or chew is how I look at it. Sometimes you gotta spit it out, sometimes you gotta swallow it, sometimes you just gotta chew. So these are the patterns, the energies that are being beamed down from the 8th chakra, and they're hitting these 4 next on their way down into physical form. So this is like your alchemical creative laboratory, but this one is really second level of power, career dominant. So they're usually connected. It's a very holographic read. Please take a nice deep breath. With a nose whistle. Still point. That was pretty instant action. I call upon my goddesses of earth, the sign of Capricorn, powers of the North, please, beloved goddesses of cardinal creative earth. I need 3 cards in clarity for the Capricorn collective, which is a lot of alliteration. Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs and cross watchers watching this video and receiving this reading for their work, career, vocation. We're going to lay them down, work, career, vocation, read them, vocation, career, work. They've got the Queen in their work. The Queen archetype, feminine family, what's going on? Face down. We're doing these face down. What's going on? Heart, third eye, crown there. In their career, they've got the Knight. Because, you know, damsels are waiting for the night. K-N-I-G-H-T. Whoa. What's going on in there? What's behind that? Heart, third eye, crown, dominant. Their creativity, survival intuition, creative intuition, visionary intuition. If that was one card, I would have taken it, because I'm looking right at that magical child in the 8th chakra for the Capricorns and the cross watchers, in their spiritual power, their mystical power, their spiritual calling in this timeless work, career, vocation reading. Magical child with the Aries card. When it is a court card on the inside, this is Calafia, the Maiden of Blades. That would be the King of Wands in traditional Rider-Waite-based tarot. Calafia, the goddess of California, before, you know, it happened, before something came and changed all of that. I'm not going there right now on YouTube. But with that magical child, Aries is also the child of the zodiac, the first sign. Now, of course, if you have any planets in Aries, I would have the look-see-duck-see at whatever's going on. Yeah, maybe from at this point, maybe moving forward if you're trying to plan things. But that also speaks about a word that is neutral, but we always hear, let's say, in the lead rather than the gold. Selfish. Now, there's higher selfish and lower selfish, inner selfish and outer selfish, and selfless is what we get applauded for. But if we're not in balance with it, we burn out, we become resentful. Particularly earth signs, right? Because we're dependable. I am always 15 minutes early for a gig, for whatever, just to make sure I get a good parking spot. I love my car. It's gray. I named him Dorian. Of course I love my car, right? So that is selfish, but also the self-care I got to go through spiritually to just pull off what I do every day. And not just on camera. I have clients. I have friends. I have people. Mal! I'm collaborating with people on different stuff. It's a lot. So that magical child in me loves that. I can relate to this. I have the magical child in spades. My first coven was with Carol and Paula, a pink squirrel and a really annoying bird. Flowers that laughed. It was a trip. It was the 70s. But, you know, of course, when I get depressed, when I get pessimistic, oh, why am I doing this for? Sure. Maybe some inner child work is indicated here. Regardless, I'm going to say element-wise, throat chakra is usually fire. Really make some choices, some empowering choices and decisions. And sometimes no decision is the right decision. We'll get there. Let's look at the Knight in your career. Whoa. Well, here we go. We got the Coyote Woman. Now, when it's a major arcana card on the inner, it's all 4 of them chakras at once. It is half of the Devil card. It's a feminist deck. They're not going to use patriarchal imagery in that way in their artwork. Fiona Morgan and all the artists that put this together. So we're looking at Coyote Woman, the trickster, often the teacher, but teaching you about your fears, about what you need to look at, about your shadow side, the stuff you don't want to look at, or the stuff, the chains that bind. There's another card, the other card in this, they split the card in half. The other one's called Depression, which is a different vibe. This one can be much more positive because Coyote is like a ancient, well, depending on where you lived in the world at the time, ancient shamanic power of the trickster. I mean, there are trickster gods in every, and goddesses, right, in every pantheon from time, because there's always a trick. But inside of yourself, it might be really giving you the opportunity here to not just think about what your allegiances are. And destructive principles, like I just gave one, do it to them before they do it to you, right? But even with romantic delusions, you can have a romantic delusion about a certain kind of creative success, and you're willing to do. It's a little bit more the warrior archetype, action family archetype, but with the shadow, it's something that really goes against your better angels, so to speak. So take the time. I mean, literally, there's the coyote and there's the shadow, right? Meaning that moonlight is coming from behind. So there is great power behind you to do this, right? And even a hawk flying in the sky there, to see it from perhaps a higher point of view. Interesting. And could just be straight up fear, right? Well, what is the shadow, right? Shadow light led to gold. Sometimes I forget to say fear to love. Return to Love, Marianne Williamson. Good place to dip a toe into Course in Miracles. A nice entry into shadow work, but certainly not the only one. Oh, we've got an indecisive queen. Well, at least a choice. Two of Flames in work. Don't know what to do. Oh, I know what I want to do, but do I want to do it this way? Or do I want to do it that way? Kind of juggling that back and forth. Two of Wands in traditional tarot. A lot of people will call that the indecision card, but, it's a 2. To me, it's more like I don't know what choice to make. The difference between choice and consequence is intensity, you could say, right? So if you're, a boss, because, it's an authority figure, are you going to protect or destroy, huh? Well, we need to cut some costs here. Now that's life-changing decisions for other people, but it might be like, well, do I want to do it this way? Here's what I want. Do I want to do it this way? Do I want to do it that way? And it's fine to juggle that. This also very fire, throat chakra, willpower, chewing on it. So it looks like, this magical child has sort of a direct influence on this queen, because it's all you, right? It's all your contract, so to speak, with the knight in between the two. That's in shadow work on the inside, or at least like that, right? Be careful with that. Let's look at this from the outside in, or the inside out, with the lower 3 chakras. The Mythic Tarot, based on Greek mythology, really my first language, it feels like. From the outside in, inside out, lower 3 chakras are relationships in the physical world. So, you got to feel out whether it's you looking at yourself, whether you're looking at a person, place, or thing, because a corporation is a thing, it's not a person. And it can be both, and there can be mirroring, particularly if shadow work is somehow involved. Just keep in mind, you spot it, you got it, is a little oversimplified. Sometimes what is mirrored back to you is the exact opposite of who you know yourself to be and who you are. Like if you're really generous and you're dealing with stingy people, like cruelly stingy. If you're kind and people are cruel, it's like, oh, I must be cruel. No, you're not. It's called the mirror of judgment. Just saying. Please, there are lots of mirrors. I got a lot of them. Please take a nice deep breath. Let's keep it light. We got coyote on the table. We might as well laugh. Still point. All those Acme products. As I call upon my gods of earth. The sign of Capricorn. Oh, it just got serious. Powers of the North. Please, beloved gods of cardinal earth, creative earth, 3 cards in clarity for the Capricorn collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs, and cross watchers watching this video and receiving this reading. Work, career, vocation. They got Queen in the 8th, 2 of Flames on the inner. What's going on the outer? You get back in the deck, young men, I think. What's going on in their career? Knight in the 8th. Coyote woman, half the devil card on the inner. And what's going on? We'll flip this one over straight up, because this might be their leverage. That's why checking your other signs is helpful, because you find your leverage in different ones. The magical child will go with that. With the child of Aries, Calafia on the inner. What's going on the outer there? Yeah, the death card. It's major arcana, lower 3 chakras. It's all 3. So you are going through a transformation. Honestly, I'm going to say it's more of a most likely spiritual transformation, and in a way beginning again with that ace. The Aries, the first a first sign of the zodiac there, but with creativity. Makes sense though. Spiritually, you might be going through a real spiritual awakening sounds nice, like, oh, it's not usually like that. We're usually shook, right? Burned awake, whatever's going on. Lower 3 chakras, this could be a real shift. And alchemy, right? The death card is one of the alchemical cards for sure, about death and rebirth, about releasing and transforming, rising from the ashes. And I would say that's really great. But, if it's talking a literal death, a death of, well, again, death is transformation. By the way, it's not the last card in the Major Arcana. It's halfway through, card number 13, depending on how many cards are in the deck. But for that magical child, if that child does not feel safe going through that, see what I'm saying? It's like, this is a spiritual thing. All things change. All that rises falls. I didn't write that. Right? The only thing that will not change is change. Or what is this? My father said to me once when I was a little kid, the only statement that will always remain true is, this too shall pass. And he's right. Okay, in your career, good. We've got the Knight with the Coyote woman on the inner, and we got 4 of Pentacles on the outer. Stabilize, rest, get down to business, work on your boundaries, perhaps protect your heart, right? What are your heart's desires? Do not share them right now. Particularly with, you can write it down, you can create, it's the creative intuition here. This says that, it's not put your head down and work on it in the outside world, but it is saying you've got the tools to move forward here. Now, granted, after this comes the 5, of course. You get your things together and then you put it into play somehow. But for right now, Daedalus here, Icarus, it's a long story. Don't fly too high unless you've got good tech for it. Guarding his heart, right? Not necessarily a miserly place, but one of certainly conserving the energy to then move forward. Yeah, he's got 4 clutched to his heart, and his son is working on the 5th. At least he contributed to a lot of cool album covers. Okay, Icarus, that would be, I know, it's rock and roll stupid, but at least it's rock and roll. I know it's only rock and roll, but I like it. This might also seriously be leveraged depending on what this card is. Got the Queen in the 8th, Mahueha, volcano goddess, fire in her hands. Oh, with the King of Swords on the outer. I like that. And here's why. It's the Libra card. Cardinal. Air, interestingly enough, opposing its opposite sign there, cardinal fire with Aries on the inner. This could be an actual person in your life, but this is, talking about legalities, fairness, balance. This could be you. If you've got any planets in Libra, of course, that could apply to you as well from the outside looking in. But look at it. It's about balance. It feels like you're in charge here and you got a choice to make. I don't think it's, I'm shaving my head, changing my career and moving to Guam. Those are decisions. I think that they're choices, but they're ones that might very well be up to you, or perhaps you are dealing with a queen archetype. That may or may not be a Libra. I don't always go for that. That's the sun sign, right? And a lot of people don't know what planets are in what signs in their chart. But there is a sense here that with the Knight, this has to be done. Oh, this has to be done fairly and honorably. That's why in the internal creative with the Knight, there is that trickster. There is that fear. Well, what if they do that? What if I am honorable and then they're not? You know what? I'm just going to kind of do this for a bit. I'm just going to Capricorn, Virgo, cross the legs, Taurus, Earth sign, put our hooves down and not move forward. I don't have any planets in Taurus or Capricorn, but I love my Earth signs because we're the only sane, stable ones in the zodiac some most days. So I like this, though. This might as well be leverage. No? Well, let's see. We still got 3 more cards down. Right, Queen, do it fairly. Queen, be fair. Be fair, Queen. Look at her. All right, let's go. We did those. These 3 are the Macron Healing Mantra deck. We're not reading from the bookie book. I even put it out of reach. I'm tempted, but no. But I've had this deck for 3 years now, using it personally and professionally, and a lot of my clients have got it as a result of those readings. Where there are two sides to the card. One side has the name of the mantra, the other side has the mantra itself, which is why I try and do these with my eyes closed. To the best of my ability, one for your work, one for your career, one for your vocation. So if one of these is the one that you really want to work on, you work that mantra if you so choose. But then you can do all three of them together, and then it brings the whole life purpose. And I do mine, and they work. They work for me, well, also because I work it. So after this, it's Lord Ganesh, the elephant-headed Hindu god of success, prosperity, and remover of obstacles. I'm up for it. Please take a nice deep breath. You're also the only other video I'm doing today. Still point. But give it my all. As I call to the ascended masters of life purpose through the archetypal lenses of work, career, and vocation, please. 3 cards in clarity, the perfect healing mantras to help the Capricorn collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs, and crosswatchers. Watching this video, receiving this reading, alchemize the shadow to light, the lead to gold, the pain to peace, toxic to healthy, the poverty to prosperity, the fear to love in their life purpose through work, career, vocation. In their work, they've got the Queen in the 8th, they've got 2 of Flames on the inner, and they have got, the Knight of Wands, the Libra card, Cardinal Air on the outer, the perfect healing mantra to help heal that. Not looking. In their career, they have got the Knight in the 8th. Hey, get back here. They've got the Knight in the 8th. They've got half the Devil card, more the Trickster. Like, there's always a lesson. The Trickster is a teacher above all else. Sometimes the only way that we can learn is to be tricked into it, but by the divine, right? But there may have been some fears, some mistakes, some stuff going on here with that. So with that 4 of Pentacles, definitely a card of stability, but also a bit of guardedness and boundaries. Not shocked with a Capricorn. Maybe they're taking the time to figure out how to do this with their love of honor intact in their career and in their vocation. Purple hair tickling my nose there. In their vocation, they've got the magical child in the 8th, which feels incredibly powerful. The child archetype and all of its sub-archetypes is incredibly powerful. It can stop things on a dime if it doesn't feel safe, and just have total miraculous things happen when it does. So that with the Aries on the inner, Calafia, it would be King of Wands, Cardinal, Fire, and the Death card, Hades, Ender of Pain, Bringer of Peace, King of the Underworld, Husband to Persephone. What's their perfect healing mantra? Okay. So, here we go. In your vocation, magical child, Aries on the inner, Death on the outer, embodying my soul. I have a right to be excited. These transformations, they may be a little tricky to go through. Hey, Death card is always a transformation. It's a difference between oxygen into water into ice. That's a change. It's a state change. You can go back. You can't unburn a cookie. I love that metaphor, particularly for the magical child, right? You can't unsmoke a cigarette. It's done. No going back, right? But you have a right to be excited, embodying the soul, the natural state and innocence of the soul as it is excited, but the child archetype ain't going to feel that way unless it feels safe, right? So these transformations you go through, it probably is, if it's rough now, with that Aries card on the inner, it really says it's your choice, but be creative rather than destructive. Playful rather than tantrum. You know, play along if you can, because there is a miracle here, right? Why else the magical child archetype there for you. Embodying my soul. I have a right to be excited. I can't put it into words, right? I can't. It's magical. Everything on planet Earth has been going through the death card, the crucible of transformation, like refining metal, right? Like refining gold. The longer you keep it in the furnace, and the whatever they call it, I don't remember the word. I don't know if they put that in a kiln. I guess a furnace is good, right? Burning off the impurities. Eventually you get liquid metal, I think, or 24 karat or whatever. This liquid metal wouldn't be very practical in terms of jewelry, but you know, you do you. Here we go. Here we go. I said shadow. Makes sense. The knight, right? Coyote, Four of Pentacles. Demystifying the darkness. My shadow shows me where my love needs to be sent. That's why I make the big bucks for free on YouTube. That's why I have clients all over the world, bit by bit, kind of digging it. So yeah, look, go in, close off from boundaries, gone fishing, right? Close up shop, pull back, go inside. You know, you're working your day job, or if you're see, like I don't make my money from my work. That's as corporate president and producer putting all this together. I make my money as a teacher and a healer and just an overall fun guy, right? In my career. And if it wasn't for my vocation, my mysticism, I couldn't do it, right? So it all clicks together. This really feels like, you know, oh, particularly with that there, oh dear, yeah, you better pull back, because whatever your fears are, fear is the absence of love. Don't try and figure it out. Just it's showing you where your love needs to be sent, like inner child work. Like this could all be inner child work. Now, does that mean it's all about your childhood? Not necessarily. Not necessarily at all. It can be the things passed down, and just from society, right? Like, especially if things are transforming. So if you're feeling a little depressed, or a lot of depressed, or pessimistic, absolutely reach out for the help that you need. At least that way, right? Spiritual power. But I have a feeling they're going to draw you inside to really look at. You can do this honorably, but you're going to have to face your fears of it, right? My shadow showing me where my love needs to be sent. With Coyote on the inner, not shocked. All right. In your work, I don't know how you're going to feel about this. Queen in the eighth, two wands, two flames on the inner. But that fairness, that balance, and we like that, right? The two flames, finding balance, there's a choice to be made, trying to do it fairly. But polishing your heart is the mantra. Feeling is a power that helps me heal. So I think this is still in chew mode, right? Heart chakra, I'm going to say. Kind of go in there and make the choice. Well, this choice I feel this way about, and this choice I feel this way about, and why wouldn't that bring you right into yourself to find a way of doing this fairly with the knight? Do you see the connection of the King of Swords on the outer here, and the knight here, like the king, is saying, we're going to go into balance. We're going to go inside and really look at this and face our fears. Inside, nobody needs to know about it. It doesn't say, my shadow shows me where my love needs to be sent and post it all over social media. No, Capricorn's boundaries for pentacles. I'm having trouble speaking because this is intense. Feels good though. So you put these together. How you heal your work, polish your heart, how you heal, balance your career, demystify the darkness, how you heal your vocation, embody the soul. But now you put the mantras together. I have a right to be excited. My shadow shows me where my love needs to be sent, and feeling is power that helps me heal. And nobody needs to know you're doing any of it. That's the inner work. That makes the outer work. Oh God, that's going to end up in a motivational office meeting somewhere, and I apologize in advance. So, that's why I started my own corporation. I hate corporate life. Oh, we're going to be 25 years old this year at the time of this recording, so I've been doing this for a bit. So, let's get your last card on the table, your wild card, as it were, a wild elephant card, actually, with the whispers of Lord Ganesh. And then we'll put it together in a summation, a blessimation, and I have to release you at the end of it, as I always do, by letting any residual goofy in my cell tissue release you all. But I love this deck. Whispers of Lord Ganesh. Angelo Hartman, highly recommend it. I also love Ganesh. I also really love elephants, even though I'm a lion. We get along. We know how to share power, elephants and lions. Please take a nice deep breath. I almost went political. I pulled myself back. Boundaries. Still point. Here we go. I call upon the beloved Lord Ganesh, Hindu god of success, prosperity, remover of obstacles. Oh, beloved elephant head, I love you so much. You're so much fun. And yet, you could take us all out with a swipe of your trunk. So please, beloved one, beloved Lord Ganesh, one card in clarity. For the Capricorn Collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs, and cross watchers watching this video, receiving this reading, because you got to admit, I mean, the earth signs are closer to elephant than any of the other elements. So, the element of elephant. Oh, the fifth elephant. Terry Pratchett. Just listened to that the other night. Thanks, guys. Beloved Ganesh. How do they remove? Give them your guidance, your grace, your love, your wisdom, your power. The Capricorn collectives and the cross watchers to alchemize the shadow to light, light to gold, pain to peace, toxic to healthy, fulfilling their sacred contracts, their life purpose in this timeless read. Decision. Here it is. Decision. You're going to go through it, I have a feeling, to make this decision. Card number 31, and that's as it should be. You know, if it's a big deal. Although, honestly, Two of Flames, as long as you're trying to do it fairly, it may not be a once and done. It might be more of a negotiation thing, right? Libra, back and forth, back and forth. Card number 31, decision. Consider all of your options to make an informed choice. What exactly do you want in this situation? Two of Flames. Ganesha is guiding you to know that your desires are within your sights. Magical child. Good to know that. Odds are in your favor. The decision that is before you is either sticking with what you know or breaking out and trying something new. It is a little bit of a crossroads there. If that's what the Two of Flames there is out picturing, if you will. This is a time for veering out into a new adventure or making a decision that deviates from your typical trend or habit. Ganesha will gift you with a greater understanding of who you are and what you are capable of creating. Well, that would make sense with the Aries card on the end. That's self-knowledge, it's all first house, self, ego, personality, knowing thyself, absolutely. Zero in on a goal. Take a step to make the selection. You have worked hard and really evolved through your life lessons. Get ready for a change. Motivate yourself by taking time to rejuvenate. Treat yourself to simple things that bring you joy. Discover new activities that take you away from routine. I know earth signs were not great at that, but, you know, call me. We'll work something out. As you move through your day-to-day schedule in new ways, you create new thoughts. There's cardinal energy, and there's that creative air there too. Ganesha is holding the mace called Gada, G-A-D-A. He is challenging you to be more decisive. Once you start being more strong-minded, you will create the opportunity to reflect on your longer-term goals, that's very Capricorn, and desires. You'll then be in a better position to plan ahead and ensure you achieve those goals. You benefit now from a newfound sense of confidence and are ready for a major change. You might consider travel to exotic places, further education, or a major career change. Gee, I could imagine somebody having some fear about that and maybe demystifying the darkness with some piano work. This will expand your learning and development and grow your horizons beyond your immediate environment. With careful planning and a moderated approach, you will set yourself up for success now and moving forwards in the future. I know a really, really tall, handsome Capricorn who I'm sending this video to. Don't worry, I won't say her name or where you work. But for some reason, this feels right up your alley, as it were. Your Capricorn alley. Okay, alrighty. So, Obviously, we have some matchy kind of vibes on the table here, but get that, you have the right to be excited about this spiritually, and of course that might very trigger the fear in you, but what if, just make sure, you're calling a lawyer, right? Make sure it's legal, right? But be honorable, and it is your way through this, and it's going to take some time to do that, I would think. Ultimately, all of this is your decision, but it kind of feels like, again, this could be the leverage, because it's up to you who you want to be in your life and in your career. No one else can tell you what to do with that, but don't let the fears. Because the fears, they're not evil. They're just hurt. They're just scared, like little kids. You gotta give them the love they need. And really, in your work, just polish hard. Feel what you gotta feel. But that might also be that on the outside, you are just Libra. Loving, 7th house, ruled by Venus, right? But fair in your words and what you're saying while you're feeling this in your heart. Well, just if someone challenges your authority, remember, decapitation is tricky. You can do it verbally. I can do it verbally. I was raised by a queen archetype. Oh, you bet. I got the queen archetype in me. Ooh, off with their heads. With a little piece of razor sharp wit. I don't think that's the tea. I think if feeling is power that helps you heal here, then I would really chew, right? You got a lot of chewing. You got a lot to chew on here, my Capricorns. Do goats have cuds? I don't know. I've dated a lot in human form, but I never asked. So let's put this together in a summation, a little blessing for you. And then we're done. But then I get to release you all, which is sort of my favorite part. Please take a nice deep breath. Look, keep it sunny, keep it funny, keep it gay. Still point. Oh, that feels lovely. As I call upon the collective pantheons of the divine, for my beloved Capricorn collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs, and cross-watchers watching this video and receiving this reading, may they be blessed with all that they need in their work, career, vocation, particularly in their vocation, that they can see the potential for sacred beauty in all things and embrace that belief that everything is possible, really, because only they can do that in themselves. This is about self-realization on some level, and then being innocent about it and saying, yeah, I really do want that, and hence triggering the creativity while things transform around them. And who's to say that it's going to ashes when it could be rising from? Therefore, they have a right to be excited by embodying their soul, their own specific soul frequency. We are all souls, and ultimately there's only one soul in the grand unity of it all. But nonetheless, we have a right, they have a right, you have a right to be excited and to delight this child, and that might take some time to do, because the Knight looks like is going to be the protector in the career here, because there are some fears, some shadows, some chains perhaps that need to be dealt with, or just some hidden stuff that they don't want, hence to take the time, put up a boundary, maybe guard their heart a little bit and go within, because their shadow is showing them where their love needs to be sent in their career, which is within for right now, so that in their career, absolutely. Oh, I forgot to say that they embrace their loyalty, romance, and chivalry with their love of honor. Sorry about that, to pull that off, because this is pretty darn powerful as well, that in their work, they radiate the regal feminine using their benevolent authority to protect others, and figuring out how to do that as a light queen rather than a shadow queen, or a messy queen, or a comedy, or be a comedy queen, be a looks queen, a fashion queen, as they polish their heart, that they can put their heart into this. They can do this in a loving way that's fair, particularly with that Libra King of Swords, but it does feel like the Queen above and a King below. That's an image. The polishing the heart here to keep it open and to not make those actions when the shadow is taking over, feeling that destructive rather than creative, that shadow rather than light, the lead rather than the gold, but taking every step they need to feel, to heal, to learn, to evolve, to alchemize their shadow light, lead to gold, pain to peace, toxic to healthy, for a better world, shifting to a more golden timeline for themselves, for their loved ones, and for all of life on planet Earth, for the well-being of all, and with heart to none. Where'd the card go? May they make their best decisions as they go, as we will it. So let it be done. So would it be. So it is. You know, this has got a certain feel to it that probably happens more often than we realize, right? It's maybe a bit more dramatic way of putting it, but a child, a knight, and a queen, there's something there. See if you find the story. And if you know what the story is, comment, because I'd like to know. And if you like the video, hit the thumbs up. Just helps other people find it. No longer monetized on YouTube. Why? Because I'm on Patreon. It's screwed my remain. And they have new stuff coming that's really exciting, but what's the point talking about it in timeless reading? Because it's a timeless reading. But essentially, they might allow free memberships, which would be cool. They would get the daily check-ins, and then if they wanted to, they could move up the menu on my Patreon, helping me fulfill my sacred contracts, my role in the divine plan, what I came in to do in my life purpose. And I gotta tell you, I love it a million times a day. So that being said, if you want the deeper dive, more magic, more miracles, more mysticism, more Malcolm, Patreon on Patreon. I'm the Archangel of Lyons, Angelo Lyons today. Just call me Mal. And if you want to book me for a private reading, that is really where I am at my best with the one-on-one thing. Zoom, we can record it, we cannot, we can make it work. There is a link in the description box, booking a reading with Mal. Explains everything you need to know, want to know about booking a reading with Mal, but perhaps we're afraid to ask, so don't be. Click the link and then you just reach out to me, and clients always come first. Well, after my self-care and my gods and my cats, then clients come first. So thank you so much. Oh, I double-clicked. click. Seriously, do this. You can do this. I love Capricorns. You are slow and steady wins the race, but you always get the job done. Yeah, I have to send this reading to somebody, so wishing you all the very, very best in the manifestation of your work, career, vocation, the fulfillment of your life purpose, my beloved sea goats. Heal, hail, farewell, and blessed be.